Well, we did a lot of audience feedback really. We handed out little sheets to our classmates which they filled out on what they thought was good about our documentary and what they thought was bad. We did surveys on the SurveyMonkey to just get feedback from general people of our target audience.
Did a couple of focus groups as well. We did, both of us did ones with our respective families, peers at the college. We did a couple with we did one with the general public as well, just to get a better idea of what sort of thing people wanted from the documentary.
I suppose the main strength of our production was the fact that we got actual industry professionals to be interviewed. We went to the Chinese Room in Brighton, who've got like BAFTA awards and they're fairly renowned in the gaming industry. So having their opinions on our documentary gives it sort of a sense of weight and realism, making it seem like just more like professional to the audience, making them believe it more, that kind of thing.
On the other hand, a bit more negative side really was our interviews with non-industry professionals, just the public at the college. A lot of people didn't really know a lot about the subject matter, so we're kind of left with some less, poor answers really, that we couldn't really use in the production, so we kind of had to skim through quite a lot of poor responses really.
And
good stuff.
That segment is quite short as well compared to the others. Some of the editing in it's alright, it's quite good transitions and fades, but like the actual segment's like a minute long compared to the professional segment, which is like
3 or 4 minutes.
3.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Due to not having a decent amount of responses at the college, it was harder to get more balanced and suitable answers for the documentary.
Which is a testament really though to how good the answers were with the industry professionals.
Yeah.
Because we had so much content out of that.
We had about 45 to 50 minutes worth of content from them.
And we had about 5 minutes of college students.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I'll do.
For our target audience, we got feedback from both male and female in the respective balance kind of thing, because our media class is got a sort of strong mix of boys and girls, so it's a nice balance. And in our documentary we feature a male and a female student from Worthing College to give a sort of fair balance, one that was also a lot more fascinated and interested in video games, and one that doesn't play them as much, doesn't feature. And then the industry professionals, we also got 2 females, especially seeing as most of our documentary is about misrepresented and underrepresented groups in the industry, so getting them to speak about it was pretty good. For our ancillary productions, we sort of got verbal feedback from our teacher and written feedback on answer sheets, and a lot of it was based on, for me it was not including my own primary images and also not having certain features that a 2-page spread would have. So to act on that feedback, I included page numbers and a website at the bottom, and I used images from our documentary to give it a continuity to it, so it links both my 2-page spread and my main production.
Yeah, I did the same actually. Used a lot of screenshots from the documentary and screenshots from other productions we'd done. So a picture of myself and Luke as a kind of an introduction to who the directors of the film are. I was praised for the professionalism of it and using just primary sources rather than any secondary sources. Yeah, I avoided using any different magazines or anything such as Empire, which a few people use as their magazine, just because if it's entirely unique, you don't have the you don't have the threat of using someone's intellectual property, and it's entirely original. That's sort of it, really. Yeah. So we got some feedback on the text we're using for our documentary. Primarily it was we didn't have any introducing people in an early stage of the draft, Then we did introduce text, but it was a bit mismatched. There was some fonts being used for different parts and not being used for others. So we took upon this feedback and we made our font consistent throughout, just to keep the type production linked together and consistent.
Yeah, we also got verbal feedback for our second half of the documentary where the professionals were speaking. A lot of it is literally just it focused on them and them talking alone. So some verbal feedback we got was to make it more visual. So I put in an image of like what they were talking about over what they were talking and blurring them in the background. So it focuses the main image so then the viewer can get some visual representation of what they're talking about. So then it keeps them interested, and it also allowed us to showcase off some editing skills as well, which is good.